Okay. So in Salesforce, so if you want to do the development, so first we have to understand the concept called Apex, sir. So in the Salesforce, we'll use mainly for background any logic. If you want to implement any complex logic, anything in the background. So in Salesforce, we have something called Apex. Okay, sir. So what is Apex? Okay. So what is the difference between Apex and other programming language? First, we'll discuss that one. Okay, sir. So Apex is object-oriented programming language. Okay, so Apex is object-oriented programming language. So it means what? So it is mainly depending on the objects. Okay, once we create a classes, right, we have to use the objects for further all the functionalities and all. Okay. So I think everyone knows Java, right? So I mean, knows means you don't know about anything about coding. It's fine, but I think everyone at least listen that word called Java. Okay. So Apex also same type of language. Even syntax also almost same. 90%, 80% of syntax is same like a Java only. Okay. So Java also, I think everyone knows Java also like a object-oriented programming language, right? So that's it, Java. Okay. So why we use Apex or Java, anything, if you take any programming language, why we can use all these programming languages? Like mainly to perform that some business logic and functionality, right? Based on the requirement, all those things. Even Salesforce also we can use Apex for some custom business logic, for custom business logic, or we have any complex process if you want to implement. Okay. In Salesforce, we can go for Apex. Okay. So normally what will happen? If you want to build any functionality in the Salesforce, so first we'll check like it is possible with the configurations or not, right? So sometimes now what will happen? So many functionalities we can achieve with the flows now, and we can achieve some functionalities with the validation rules, right? So similarly, in case if you want to put some complex validation process, or if you want to perform some complex logic after records are saved and all those things, right? So in that case, we can go for the Apex classes. Okay. Something is not possible through Salesforce flows or validations. If you want to build some complex heavy logic, then we can go for the Apex coding. Okay, that is the main functionality of Apex. Okay. So what are some key features? Is so Apex is mainly hosted in the Salesforce platform. Okay, we cannot use Apex in other like applications, right? For example, if you use HTML, CSS, JavaScript, so that technologies we can use in multiple places, not only a website. I mean website. If you want to use that technology in Salesforce, also we can use for developing some complex pages and all, right? Like this. So Apex is mainly on the hosted in the Salesforce servers. So it is based on the Salesforce platform only. Okay. So as we discussed, right, Salesforce is a cloud-based technology. So complete code also run in the Salesforce platform only. Okay. And this Apex is tightly integrated with Salesforce data. Okay, sir. So what is the meaning of this one is tightly. So what is the meaning of this one is? So for example, if you want to perform logic on your Salesforce database, okay. So generally what we can do is to get the data from the database, leave about Salesforce. Something normally, I think everyone knows SQL, right? I think structured query language. So what is SQL is, in case if you want to fetch data from database, you can use SQL, normal in the Oracle or any other applications. Okay. But when it comes to Salesforce, if you want to fetch data from Salesforce database, will use something called SQL and Saucer. Okay, we'll discuss in detail about SQL and Saucer later. But generally, if you want to fetch any database data from database in Salesforce, so we can use a SOQL and SOSL. So this is same like a SQL in the Oracle. Okay. So while writing Apex classes, while writing programming language, what we can do is we can use SQLs and we can get the data. We can do whatever you want, we can do. We can update the data, delete the data, or send data to other system. Whatever you want to do, we can do it in the Apex programming language. So that's why. So Apex is tightly integrated with the Salesforce data, right? So that is the one thing. Okay. So generally, some complex automation process, if you want to build, then we can use for the Apex language. Okay. So I think already we know, sir, right? In the our Salesforce admin topic, we discussed about the flows. Okay. So many things we can automate automatically whenever the record is created, right? What you want to perform, right? So many functionalities we have automated with the Salesforce flows. Some functionality, right? In case some functionality is not possible with the Salesforce flows. Okay. In that case, what we can do is we can use the Apex code. Okay. So normally I'll give examples like if you want to perform some complex integrations, we can use for the Apex. Okay. If you want to write some complex logic on record creation updation, we can use the triggers. Okay. In case if you want to upload bulk data, like millions of data you want to update, sir, right? In that case, what we can do, we have something called batch classes. So all are nothing but Apex only. Whatever I'm discussing, right? All this process, right? So in case if you want to perform some scheduled jobs, we can use scheduled Apex. So like this, etc. So many things we can use in the Apex language. We can use Apex language to build web services, to build triggers, to build batch classes, to build scheduled classes, whatever you want to build, some complex automations. Then also we can go for the Apex language. Understand, sir? And this Apex also supports securities. Okay. It will support like a security. I think everyone knows in Salesforce, we have something called like OWD sharing rule, right? Record level security. In the record level security, all these things will come, right? So those things will be considered while writing Apex class. Okay, if you write some Apex class, you want to fetch data, you cannot fetch all the data in the Apex class. So whatever you have access, you can get only that data. So that type of things also we can like achieve using Apex class. Okay, something there is a keyword called with and without sharing. So Salesforce will respect sharing rules in the Salesforce. Okay, whatever you have access, if you want to get that data only, you can get and you can do the actions, whatever you want to perform actions. Okay, so it means what? Sharing rules and level security, FLS, right? All these things will be considered while writing Apex class. Even if you don't want consider, that is also we can use the without sharing. Okay. So security aware. So while writing Apex class, we can follow securities also. If you want to follow, you can use it with keyword. If you don't want to follow, we can use it without sharing keyword in the Apex classes. Okay. And Salesforce is allowing like a testing also. Okay. Salesforce Apex allows testing also. Right. See, normally if you write any flow validation rules, what you can do? You can create one record and you can test it. Validation is working or not. Correct? For example, you are creating one Salesforce flow. How you can test? Either you can debug the flow or you can create one record. You can test the functionality. Correct? So similarly, in case if you are writing some Apex classes, programming some Apex programming, so how we can test that functionalities? So we have something called test classes in the Salesforce. Okay. So we create the test classes, right? And by using test classes, we can validate our Apex code, like our Apex code is working properly or not. It is following like any best practices or not. We are getting any errors. So all those things we can check with the test classes in the Apex. Okay. So these are all like some um, features and use cases. Okay, you can consider this is also like some Apex features and some like use cases also, right? As I mentioned, so triggers, we'll use triggers for automation. We'll use batch classes for bulk upload. These are all use cases. Okay. Web services, if you want to send data or receive data to other system, right? Scheduled thing, sending emails. So many things are we can achieve using Apex language. So clear anyone till now? Any questions? Any questions? No, sir. Clear anyone? Hello.
No, sir.
Sir.
No,
Oh,
sir.
oh. So this is a main like features and common use cases when we can go for the Apex classes in the Salesforce. Okay. So now, so where we can, if you want to write any thing in the Apex, right? So this syntax, right? So, so first, if you want to write any programming, so first we need to understand the concept of a programming language. Okay. So as I mentioned, Java is also object-oriented programming language. Salesforce Apex also object-oriented programming language. Okay. So, so what will happen is, so normally if you want to build anything, so first we need to understand core concepts. Okay, if you want any program, if you want to write any programming, first we need to understand core concepts like what is main to all these things, right? That is so. So that is nothing but a OOPS concepts in the Salesforce Apex. So same concepts are available in Java. Okay, same here also. Apex also will use same type of concepts. Okay. If you want, so generally not what is OOPS is nothing but object-oriented programming language, as I mentioned, right? So object-oriented programming language concepts. So if you want to build anything, so first we need to understand the basic concepts, how we can write classes, how we can create objects, how like how many how like how we can create a methods, right? How we can access the variables in methods. So what is constructor? So we need to understand all these concepts first. Then you can start the programming. Okay. So in the OOPS concepts, there are mainly like seven things are there, seven components are there. So first thing is class. Second one is object. Okay. So third one is constructor. Okay. So fourth one is encapsulation. Okay. And fifth one is abstraction. Okay. And sixth one is, I think, inheritance. Sorry, polymorphism. Okay. And last one is inheritance. Yes. So if you know all these seven concepts, then you can create any type of programming cell. So these are all main. Okay. Once you understand these topics now, so you can create any type of programming. Okay. These concepts is very important. If you do not understand these topics, you cannot create any programming also. Okay. So first we'll discuss one by one, sir. What is class? Anyone knows what is class?
Class is a blueprint, sir.
Hmm.
It defines the properties and methods of an object.
Correct. So, so now class is nothing but a blueprint. Okay. So what is a blueprint? What is the meaning of blueprint?
Logical entity, sir. Real but dead.
The class is blueprint. You can call it a blueprint, or you can call it a template, okay, or you can call it a imagination.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Logical entity.
Okay. So class is like a blueprint, template, or imagination, sir. So what is the meaning of blueprint, template, and imagination is? So for example, okay, I'll take one simple class, for example. I will write you like syntax. Normally, what is the syntax for the class? Okay. So if you want to write any classes, right, we have to use of some syntax, right? Public keyword and class keyword and class. So this is the syntax for the class. Okay. Public, class, class name. So generally we can call these public, private, global, protected. Some keywords are there. So we can call these keywords like access modifiers. We can, what I'm trying to, we can call it as an access modifier. We will discuss in detail later. Just I want to tell you. So we have to follow this syntax. Public, okay. Class keyword is just to create a class name, right? We have to use a class keyword and class. Open bracket, close bracket. Okay. So this class. So normally in the class, so what will happen? We have two things mainly. One is variables. Variables and anochu, or you can call it as attributes. Okay, or members. So we can call it any name, sir. Class is nothing but a collection of variables and methods also. Okay, we can call it as a class is nothing but what, sir? Collection of variables and methods. So class is nothing but it is a blueprint or template or imagination. Okay. So what class contains? It contains variables and methods. Okay, sir. So class contains mainly two things. One is variables and other one is the methods. Okay, that's so variables are attributes and members are nothing but okay. For example, to understand this concept easily, if you take account objects, okay, account objects in Salesforce, account is nothing but one class. Think like that. No, okay. With account and object, I think everyone knows account object, right? There's under account object. Hello.
Yes, sir.
So for example, if we take account is nothing but one class. Okay. If we click on new button, right? So in this class, since account is nothing but one class now, in this class, what we can call these things? One name what we can call all these things?
Fields.
Fields. Okay. Fields. So why will use fields? Why will use account name? Why will use the site? Why will use type? Why will use these fields? In the pictures and fields. Correct. To store the data. Right? So similarly, in the Apex also, in the programming language also, if you want to store any data, we can call as a variables, attributes, members. Fields and problem లేదు. Understand? If you want to store any data in the programming, Apex programming or any programming language, so what we can use, sir? Which is the variables, attributes, members, fields. So anything, sir, you can call it as a variables and now attributes and now members and now fields and now. Understand? Following everyone? So see,
Yes,
in
sir.
account class, so here so variables are nothing but what's here? Account class fields. Fields is nothing but account variables, members, fields, attributes, anything. Okay. So why will use fields? To store the data. So similarly, here also we can use to store the data, to get the data, whatever you want, we can use the variables to store that. Okay. What is the use of these buttons? For example, account name is Sansani, test account. If I click save, what we can call these things?
Actions.
Yeah, actions.
Actions.
Perform the action.
Correct. Actions. If you click save action, name of the record will save. That is one action. If you click save on you, what will happen? Record will save and it will display again new account
record.
page, new record. If you click cancel, this page will cancel. It will not save the record. Correct? Yes. So in Apex also nothing but methods also nothing but what's the actions. Understand, madam? If you want to perform any action in the programming language, what we can use? Methods, actions, methods, actions, functions. You can call it anything. But sometimes what will happen in the JavaScript, what we can call is attributes, functions and normal. Okay, if you use a JavaScript language, JavaScript functions like attributes, functions center. When it comes to programming language, we can call it as a variables or members center. So we can call it as a method center. Okay, in different language they will call, but end of the day all are same. Variables and attributes and members and fields and right, methods, actions. So normally, so class contains two things. Okay, fields, actions. Account. So similarly, class will contains member variables and methods. So we can use variables to store the data, get the data, whatever you want, you can do it. We can use methods wise to perform actions based on the requirement. Everyone is following what I'm saying?
Yes.
Sir.
Yeah, madam. Oh. So this is, so we'll create one simple Apex class. Okay. With some variables and one simple method. Okay. So now we are in developer console. Okay, this is console, right? So normally where we can write Apex classes, where we can write the programming in Salesforce is, so we have multiple options. Mainly we have three options, sir. Okay. One is Salesforce internal UI. Okay. Salesforce internal ka maku UI ఉంటుంది sir. There also you can write the Apex class. For example, if you go to the Salesforce page, you can click a setup. Okay. So Apex, just type Apex. You can see Apex classes here. Click Apex classes. Okay. So you remember last time we created one Apex class also, like how we can call Apex classes from the flow. You remember గుర్తుందా? మర్చిపోయారా? ఖచ్చితంగా మర్చిపోయింటారులే కానీ. Okay. So generally, if you want to create Apex classes, what you can do? If you go to the Apex classes here, so here you can see something called new button, right? So you can just click a new button. Okay. So here you can write the logic. Example, as I mentioned, syntax is what's it? Public. What is the class syntax?
Public class name.
Class name.
Class name.
Class name.
For example, I can create a class name equals to anything, animal example. That's it. Click a save. You can click a save. This.
Open for bracket Apex.
That's it. So this is the one place we can write Apex classes, but no one will use this option because this is not that much user friendly UI. Okay. So UI అంత పర్ఫెక్ట్ గా ఉండదు. It is not user friendly. Okay. So అందుకని ఇది ఎక్కువ యూజ్ చేయం సార్ ఇది UI. ఈ ఆప్షన్ ఎక్కువ యూజ్ చేయం. So second option is what is? So we can use the developer console. What's that? Salesforce developer console. Okay. So developer console, I think everyone knows, right? For example, how we can open developer console here, from here to developer console. So go to setup. So here you can see developer console. If you click this one, it will open automatically this one. Okay. So here, if you click a file, see, if you click go to the new button, you can create a Apex classes, triggers, any coding. If you want to do anything except Lightning Web component, you can create everything. Okay. So first we'll talk about only Apex classes. So click Apex classes. Okay. For example, I want to create simple class called car. Just click OK. So it will give automatically class give basic template like a access modifier class car. Understand, sir? So tell me now, what class will contain? Class name మనకు
Attributes, methods.
attributes and methods, variables and methods. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So I can use double slash. This double slash is nothing but for comments, sir. Okay. It is not a code, just comments, variables. So tell me, madam, some car properties. మీకు ఏమన్నా కార్ అట్రిబ్యూట్స్ ఆర్ వేరియబుల్స్ నార్మల్ కార్ అంటే మీకు ఏం గుర్తొస్తుంది ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్?
Wheels, sir. Wheels.
Name, color name,
నేమ్,
Model. Branch. Brand.
బ్రాండ్, ఇంకా
Model.
color,
కలర్, ఇంకా ప్రాపర్టీస్. కార్ ప్రాపర్టీస్ అన్ని నథింగ్ బట్ వేరియబుల్స్ ఓన్లీ. కార్లో ఏమైతే ఉన్నాయో అన్ని నథింగ్ బట్ ప్రాపర్టీస్ ఓన్లీ. కరెక్ట్? నేమ్, బ్రాండ్, కలర్, ఇంకా
ఎన్ని వీల్స్ ఉన్నాయి?
మైలేజ్
అర్థం కాలే మేడం.
దాని
మైలేజ్ ఉంటుంది.
మైలేజ్ ఓకే. ఇంకా ఎక్సెట్రా అనుకోండి. ఓకేనా? సో వాట్ యూ కెన్ కాల్ మేడం విత్ మీ? కార్ ప్రాపర్టీస్, కార్ వేరియబుల్స్, కార్ అట్రిబ్యూట్స్, ఏదైనా ఒకటే. ఓకే. సో ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇఫ్ యూ టేక్ నేమ్. సో నేమ్ అంటే ఏంటి మేడం? Like normally, if you go to the Salesforce, okay, if you go to the account object, if you see the name, normally which data type it is, madam? While creating fields, what we can do? Fields
Name. Data type, sir.
Data type search చేసుకుంటాం, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So మన name కి which data type you can use while
Name,
creating
sir.
field? Name అనే
Text.
data type ఉంటుందా? Text ఉంటుంది.
Text, sir.
Okay. So we have something called what, madam? Text అనే data type ఉంటుంది నార్మల్ గా. We go to the setup. Go to object manager. Take any object. I take account only. Fields. So new. So these are all nothing but what we can call sir data types అంటాం మామూలుగా. Yes or no? If you want to create a account name, we can use a text. Okay. If you want to create a account number, what you can do? You can use a number. If you want to create a phone number, you can use a phone. Date. So these are all nothing but data types. So based on which data you want to store, we can choose that data type. Yes or no? Can I store like a number in a text field?
No, sir. No, sir.
Correct? Yeah. Can I store like text in the phone number? Phone number text add cheyacha?
No, sir. No,
So
sir.
no. Phone number means we have to use a phone data type only. Text means we have to use a text data type only. So based on which data you want to store, that based on that we have to choose the data type. Correct? ఇప్పుడు చెప్పండి మేడం మళ్ళీ. సో ఐ వాంట్ టు స్టోర్ నేమ్. నార్మల్గా ఇక్కడ దీని ప్రకారం విచ్ డేటా వి హావ్ టు యూస్ టు స్టోర్ ద నేమ్?
Text. Character.
సో వాట్ వీ కెన్ డూ మేడం దీని ప్రకారం యాజ్ పర్ దిస్ నార్మల్ సేల్స్ ఫోర్స్ ఫీల్డ్ క్రియేషన్ విచ్ టైప్ వీ కెన్ యూస్ టు స్టోర్ ద నేమ్ వీ కెన్ టెక్స్ట్ వీ కెన్ యూస్. కరెక్ట్?
Text.
సో సిమిలర్లీ ఇన్ అపెక్స్ వీ కెన్ యూస్ అ డేటా టైప్ కాల్డ్ స్ట్రింగ్ మేడం. We don't have characters in Apex, madam. Okay, that characters is there in Java. Salesforce in Apex, we don't have a characters. Directly, if you want to store any text, which data type you have to use?
String. String.
String. So if I want to store name, what I have to use, madam? String data type. Okay. In the string data type, I want to give the variable. Okay. So normally we'll talk about variable syntax also first. Then you can do that. So syntax for variables. Okay. What is syntax for variables, madam? Access modifier. I'll tell you what is access modifier later. And data type, which data you want to store. Then name of a attribute or variable name, whatever you can say. Member name, whatever you can say. Right? This is a syntax. Okay. So if you want to declare any variables, create variables, what is syntax we have to use? Access modifier, data type, variable name. Okay. So access modifier is nothing but what's a public keyword, private keyword, okay, global keyword, all those things. Okay. We'll discuss that is separate topic, what is different one. And data type means what? Which data you want to store? Text అయితే string, number అయితే integer, right? Something if you want to store decimal, we can use a decimal. If you want to store something image, we can use a blob. So based on the requirement, we have to choose the data type. Correct? Then variable name. So in this case, example I'll take I want to store car name, madam. Example student name అనుకోండి. I want to store student name. Name. Tell me syntax for variable.
Public string.
Public. With access modifier, you can use anyone, madam. No problem now. You can use public, private, anything you can use. We'll discuss what is public, private later. మీకు ఏదైనా చెప్పొచ్చు. Public.
String.
String.
Correct. String. Name ఏమి ఇద్దాం? Variable name. Student name.
Name.
That's it. Understand, madam? ఈ స్టూడెంట్ నేమ్ ఇస్ ఎట్లా అంటే ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇక్కడ మనం డేటా టైప్ తీసుకున్నాం, రైట్? దిస్ ఇస్ స్ట్రింగ్. ఇఫ్ యూ క్లిక్ ఆన్ నెక్స్ట్, సో యూ హ్యావ్ టు గివ్ ద ఫీల్డ్ నేమ్, రైట్? ఎస్ ఆర్ నో?
Yes, sir.
స్టూడెంట్ నేమ్ అని ఇవ్వాలి. సో దట్ ఈస్, సో ఇన్ ది స్టూడెంట్ నేమ్, సో వీఆర్ చూసింగ్ ద టెక్స్ట్. సో అలాగే అపెక్స్ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ వాట్ యూ హావ్ టు డు మేడం, స్ట్రింగ్ దట్ ఫీల్డ్ నేమ్. 1 minute మేడం.
Okay. So the student name, variable name is kind of field name, if we right?
Correct, madam. It is like a field name. Understand?
Yeah.
So this is student name. Example, I want to store student date of birth. Tell me syntax now. How we can store student date of birth? Date of birth అంటే ఏంది మేడం? Which normal గా ఏంటి date of birth?
Dates.
Date.
Dead.
Tell me now.
Mhm.
Syntax. I want to store date of birth. How we can store date of birth?
Public.
Public.
Date.
Correct. We have date data
Date
type.
birth.
ఓకే మనకు ఇక్కడ డేట్ అని ఎలా ఉంటుందో ఇన్ ఫీల్డ్స్. సో సిమిలర్లీ ఇన్ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ ఆల్సో వి హావ్ సంథింగ్ కాల్ డేట్ డేట్ డేటా టైప్ ఈస్ దట్.
Okay.
అండర్స్టాండ్?
Yes, sir.
అర్థమైందమ్మా? సో పబ్లిక్ డేట్ ఏం స్టోర్
Student.
ఎక్కడ స్టోర్ చేయాలి? స్టూడెంట్
Student. DOB.
డ్యూరెంట్ డేవియబుల్. అండర్స్టాండ్ మేడం? అర్థమైందా?
Yes, sir.
ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఐ వాంట్ టు లైక్ మేక్ స్టూడెంట్ లైక్ పాస్ ఆర్ ఫెయిల్డ్ మేడం. జస్ట్ ఐ వాంట్ టు స్టోర్ పాస్ ఆర్ ఫెయిల్డ్.
Boolean.
Boolean, sir.
Correct. What we can do, madam? Sim.
Boolean.
Boolean.
Tell me syntax. Public
Public. Boolean.
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 Uh,
Student result.
Exact. Student result. If it is true means boolean true means what, madam? Pass. False means failed.
Fail.
Understand?
mhm.
I want to store student marks, madam.
Int.
Normally in Java we can call it int, but in Apex what we can call integer. Enter, madam? Integer. Integer. Understand, madam? What is the name we can give? Field name, variable name, attribute name. ఏమన్నా కానీ. What we
Student
can
name.
student marks.
Marks.
Understood na syntax now, everyone? How to declare variables in class?
Yes.
So every time we will have to write that public, that access modifier.
Based on the requirement, madam. Based on the requirement. So that you will understand access modifier. So it is not every time not required. So if you use this public keyword, so what will happen normally is we can use this variable, public variable outside the class also. Example, Arjun madam, this class name is public class student. Right? A class madam is student class. Example చెప్తున్నాం. So in the student class, how many variables are there now? 4 variables ఉన్నాయి కదా.
Right.
Right? So if we use a public keyword, what will happen is I want to use the student name in other class. Example, we have one more class called branch. Public class branch. Branch అనేది ఇంకో class example. Understand?
Mhm.
So now it is public, right? Because of public, what you can do, you can call this variable in this class also. Like a class directly. Object name, we have to create an object and we can call. We can use. Understand? So we can use this other class because this is the public variables. So we can use this public variables in other class also. We can access it. Okay. If you make it example, I'll make it student. What we can say is student account number, madam. Example. So account number and normal you can say pin number. Example, you can take any pin number. ATM card pin number. Example. So ATM pin number, which data we can take, madam?
Private.
Just leave out private. Just tell me syntax. Public, integer,
Integer.
student,
Student.
pin number.
Pin.
Example, ATM pin number. Correct. So normally, what will happen? We cannot give our pin number to anyone. Yes or no?
Yes,
So in
sir.
this case, what you can do? We can make it private. So if you give a private, what is the meaning of this one is we can use this pin number only inside student only, not
Inside the
outside.
class. Yes, sir.
Understand, madam? అర్థమవుతుందా?
Yes, sir.
Who is asking this question? Who
Yeah,
asked
I
them?
understand.
Understand?
Yeah.
So actually, we'll discuss in detail keywords, madam, later. But our focus should be now syntax అనమాట. Just syntax అర్థం అవ్వాలి. Variable syntax ఎట్లా declare చేయాలి. That is our goal now. Okay.
Okay.
So there is separate topic for each data type and for each access modifier, we have separate topic. So now our topic is just we need to understand syntax for the variable. Ante.
Oops.
Understand, madam?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Now tell me, madam, I want to store car name now. Which data type? Syntax for to store the car name?
String. Public string.
Public
Car name.
string
Car name.
Car.
public string car name. You can give any name, any field name you can give. Okay, I'll give a
Yeah.
car name only. This is like okay. Like string because of name. Brand and madam. Again, that is also
String. Yeah.
string.
String.
Brand and nothing but madam. String. String car brand. Color
String, sir.
string
String.
only.
Same.
String only. Color also string only. Give a car color. Understand, madam? That's it. So this is simple. Like this, we can declare the example car price. We can take, madam, just for understanding the different one. Price means which one we can take, madam?
Integer.
Integers.
Integers we can use. So we have two options here. We can use integer also, decimal also. In case if you don't want, sometimes what will happen, car price is like 10 lakhs point 50 something like that is that dot 05 is there. Then we can go for decimal. If there is no decimal point, we can use it directly integer, madam. Okay. For example, we'll take in this case integer only. So what you can take? Public integer. What, madam?
Car price.
Car
Car
price.
price.
That's- Okay. Click save. So now we have a variables. What else will class this contains, madam? For
Variables and methods.
correct. So we have fields already there. Now actions.
Yes.
Same actions said that, madam. Car. What actions we car will do? So I'll tell you before creating actions. I'll tell you syntax for the actions. Okay. You understood now syntax for variables. Syntax for variables, right? So
Yes.
similarly for method or action, syntax for methods, actions, functions. Yeah, okay. So how we can syntax is same. Access modifier. Access modifier. So instead of data type here, what we can do is we are calling as a return type, madam. Here. What we can call it? Return type and
Method name.
method name. So ఇక్కడ variable name ఇచ్చాము, ఇక్కడ method name ఇస్తున్నాం. Then open bracket, close bracket. ఇక్కడ మనం ఏం చేయాలంటే చేసుకోవచ్చు లాజిక్. This is a simple method syntax. Understand, madam? Do logic. Okay. So access modifier, the return type, method name, do logic. Access modifier already we know, private, public, అవన్నీ ఉంటాయి. So return type means what? Okay. For example, once you are performing action, example తీసుకుందాం, madam. Example, if you take this action, if I click save button, what will happen, madam?
Account will be set.
It will be the record.
Record will be created. Correct? This is the method. If I click save method, record will be created. Okay, you record fields ఉన్నాయా? So if I click save button, what will happen? What action we are doing? Record is saving. Record save అయిన తర్వాత what happen, madam? ఏమన్నా అవుతుందా? Any guess? Record save అయిన తర్వాత ఏమవుతుంది? Will get a what?
Account ID.
Record ID.
Sorry, record ID, sir.
Correct? Yes,
Yes,
sir. No? So after clicking save method, మనం సేవ్ మెథడ్ క్లిక్ అవ్వగానే డేటా మొత్తం సేవ్ అవుతుంది. యాక్షన్ డేటా is saved into database. Then రిటర్న్ లో మనకి ఏమొస్తుంది? It is generating record ID. So this is called return type. In this case, return type is record ID. Correct?
Yes, sir.
ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మనం ఒక చిన్న మెథడ్ తీసుకుందాం, మేడం. క్యాలిక్యులేటర్ ఒక మెథడ్ తీసుకుందాము. ఎగ్జాంపుల్, సింపుల్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, పబ్లిక్. I'll take sample method public void add. Add అనేది ఒక మెథడ్, మేడం. What is the method name? Add method. Okay. So we have to use a parenthesis here. So in this parenthesis, we can pass parameters, whatever the parameters. Now we'll discuss later. Now this is the basic syntax. Access modifier, return type, add. Okay. assume, madam, in this case, what I'm doing is I'm just displaying integer result equals to example 10 plus 20. మనకి ఇక్కడ రిజల్ట్ ఎంత వస్తుంది మ్యామ్ నా ఇప్పుడు
30 వస్తుంది.
30 వస్తుంది. సో వాట్ ఈస్ రిజల్ట్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ బట్ వాట్ హియర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ విచ్ డేటా టైప్
Return type.
ఇంటీజర్. సో ఇన్ కేస్ ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు రిటర్న్ దిస్ రిజల్ట్, మనకి రిజల్ట్ ఏదైతే వచ్చిందో 10 plus 20 30, you want to use this result in other places wherever, right? So in that case what you can do is here we can use a type return type is integer, madam. Integer. So here we have to use a return what, madam? Result.
రిజల్ట్.
Understand? అర్థమైందా? Example, we'll take one more example. I'll take calculate interest example. Okay, calculate interest అనేది ఒక మెథడ్ ఉంది. So in this method I want to calculate something called interest decimal. Interest equals to like something I'll give a 102.67 something 69 something this. So now what is happening, madam? Here also we are doing addition, but what is the result you are getting here by doing addition here? You are getting
Decimal.
number or decimal?
డెసిమల్స్.
Decimal, correct, madam? So what you can do here? Decimal. So interest. So I want to return this result, right? Wherever I'm using this method, I want to return result. So then what I can do? So here also we have to use a decimal because you are getting result is a decimal. So here also we should use a return type is a decimal. Understand? But I have some requirement, madam. So what is the requirement is I don't want to return anything. Just I want to do the action. Action మాత్రమే చేయాలి. I don't want to return anything. In that case, we can use a void. Understand, madam? Example, if we take a public void. So ఇక్కడ ఈ మెథడ్ ఏం చేయాలంటే ఎగ్జాంపుల్ డిస్ప్లే సంథింగ్ ఏదో ఒక నేమ్ ఇవ్వండి. ఎగ్జాంపుల్ డిస్ప్లే నేమ్ ఏదో ఒకటి ఇస్తున్నా. సో ఇక్కడ ఏం చేస్తుందంటే జస్ట్ ఐ వాంట్ టు డూ సంథింగ్ యాక్షన్ ఓన్లీ సింపుల్ example system dot debug. So what is the system debug? I'll tell you later. Otherwise, I'll do something like I'll pass one. Just I want to do the action. Example, we'll take a display name. So string full name equals to, for example, I have three variables called first name, last name, surname. So I want to display first surname plus first name plus last name. So like this, in case just I don't want to any action, just I want to combine all this into the one variable. So we can use a return type is a void. Understand, madam? అర్థమైందా? I don't want to return full name, just I want to do the action, that's it. Whatever is there, just I want to do this, that's it. In this case, what you can do, you can use a void data type, return type. Following everyone, అర్థమైందా? Any questions? అర్థమైందా? Any questions? ఏదో ఒకటి ఇవ్వండి మేడం. అర్థమైంది అని లేకపోతే నో క్వశ్చన్స్ అని. No questions. Okay. So example, now we'll take this class. Okay, we have some variables here. Okay. Actions, madam. Car came to actions normal. Example, I want to display a drive. Driving is nothing but one action, right? So what I can do, I can create a method. Tell me syntax for method creation.
యాక్సెస్ మాడిఫైయర్.
Access modifier. Okay, in this case, always we can use public, madam. Okay.
పబ్లిక్.
మనకు we'll discuss about access modifiers. We'll use all places public only. Okay. Once we discussed about access modifiers, then you can understand which access modifier you want to use. But till we discuss that topic, just we'll use a public keyword now. Method syntax, madam.
రిటర్న్ టైప్.
Access modifier, return type. Okay. So I want to use just return type is void only in this case. And method name. What is the method name? I'll take a drive. Just this method. And open parenthesis and close parenthesis with this too. Okay. So So this is a simple method. So access modifier. Void means what, madam? What it will return?
It does not return any
Null.
thing, sir.
Return.
It will not
Just
return anything.
action.
Just action only. Action మాత్రమే perform చేస్తుంది. No result. Okay, result ఉంటుంది, but inside that only. We are not going to return that result. Understand?
Yes, sir.
So in this dry method, so I'll just we can do some actions. What we can do is, okay, instead of the dry method, what I can do is I'll display car info. What is the method name I'm giving, madam? Display car info. Okay. So just I want to print all these variables here. Okay. So normally, if you want to print anything in Java, which anyone knows what we can do? Java or JavaScript.
System
Some
dot println.
we can use system dot
Out dot println.
out dot println. Correct? And if
Yes, sir.
we go to the W3 schools, Java. See, syntax is same like Java only. Mana syntax is same alage undi. Our syntax also it be same like Java only. You can see here also public class name. So method, main method is there in Java, but we don't have something called main method. Okay. But in the Java, if you want to like print anything like a result or anything you want to print, so what you can do is system dot out dot println. If you click right yourself, see for example, I want to print SalesforceStart. Same just if you run this program, if you print here, whatever you want adding here, that will print it here. Right? So similarly, in Salesforce Apex, we can use a system.debug. Which one we have to use, madam, to print anything? To print information, anything. What we can do? System.debug.
Debug.
So system is nothing but one type of class. Debug is nothing but again something else method. So here you can print whatever you want. Example SFDs. Okay. So here I want to print what, madam? Car information. Correct? So what I can do is I'll use a system.debug. I want to print here system.debug. I'll make it some car information. Okay. So this is something like text, madam. So whatever you're going to print something hardcore text, that will come like this here. Okay. Car information. I'll print. So now I want to print car name here in the same method. Now we can do this, madam. System.debug. So car name, right? So I can give here example car name. So this is a text, but what you want to print this name, actually I want to print here. So how we can call this variable, how we can use this variable here is just we have to use a plus keyword, plus thing, and this add the variable. So now whatever the data you are assigning to this car name, right? Whatever the data you are assigning, like a Suzuki or like Alto, whatever it may be, we will assign some data, right? So that data will assign and it will print here. Okay. So similarly, I want to print a car brand. What else, madam? Car color, car price. Okay. So just simple method and simple class, madam. In the logic game ledu. Just we are declaring some variables and we are declaring one method. The method what just print chestunam. We are not doing any like complex actions and displaying result, all those things ఏం లేదు. సో మనం ఇక్కడ ఏమైతే డేటా అసైన్ చేస్తామో దాట్ వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు డిస్ప్లే హియర్. సో ఎగ్జాంపుల్ కార్ నేమ్, కార్ బ్రాండ్, కార్ కలర్, కార్ price. So now our class is ready. Okay, madam. So now this is which car, madam? ఇది ఏ కార్ ఇది? ఆల్టోనా, గ్రాండ్ ఐటెనా, హుండాయా, ఏంటి ఇది? స్విఫ్టా? విచ్ కార్ మేడం దిస్ ఇస్?
We didn't mention, sir.
So by seeing this class you cannot identify that is which class, which color car and like what is the brand. By seeing this class you can identify anything? తెలుస్తుందా మీకు? By seeing this car syntax, class syntax? No. So అందుకనే what we can call class is nothing but a blueprint. Some background voice వస్తుంది. Please mute yourself. So by seeing class you cannot identify what is the object name actually here. Car, but which car, which color, which price? You can you identify by seeing class? No. So that's why we can call class is nothing but a blueprint. Blueprint ante it is like a template ante. Understand madam now? What is the blueprint? You understood now? This is not a real world entity madam. మన కార్ అంటే మనకు మైండ్లో ఏమొస్తుంది? ఫస్ట్ కార్ నేమ్ ఏంటి, కార్ కలర్, కార్ ప్రైస్, కార్ బ్రాండ్, ఇవే గుర్తొస్తాయి. బట్ విచ్ కార్? నో రైట్. సో విచ్ కార్ అన్నప్పుడు, స్విఫ్ట్ అన్నప్పుడు ఓకే స్విఫ్ట్ ప్రైజ్. సో దెన్ యూ కెన్ అండర్స్టాండ్ ఓకే స్విఫ్ట్ ఈస్ ద ఎగ్జిస్టింగ్ థింగ్. కార్ ఈజ్ ఎగ్జిస్టింగ్ మేడం. కార్ అనేది ఎగ్జిస్టింగ్ ఉందా రియల్ వల్ల? హలో.
No, sir.
స్విఫ్ట్ అంటే స్విఫ్ట్ మీన్స్ యు నో కార్ నేమ్ that is exist, correct? Grand i10 car is exist, is grand i10 ante car is there, object is there, but car ante by just seeing that car means which car. So it is like a template. Okay. For example if you take animal madam, so animal ante man gurtechedi enti? What all things you can remember if you take animal name, how many legs it is having, what it will do, color, correct? బట్ విచ్ ఎనిమల్? ఎనిమల్ అంటే మనకు ఇవన్నీ గుర్తొస్తున్నాయి. దిస్ జస్ట్ అవర్ ఇమాజినేషన్. ఎనిమల్ అంటే ఓకే ఇవన్నీ ఉంటాయి. బట్ విచ్ ఎనిమల్ దట్ ఈస్? హార్సా, డాగా, ఏంటి? డోంట్ నో, కరెక్ట్? సో క్లాస్ ఈజ్ నథింగ్ బట్ బ్లూ ప్రింట్. అంటే క్లాస్ మన ఎనిమల్ అంటే నాకు ఉంటాయి. ఎనిమల్ అంటేనే ఎనిమల్ ఏమేంటి, కలర్ ఏంటి, వాటికి వీళ్ళు
Just displays the features.
ఇమాజినేషన్ మేడం. మనకి ఎనిమల్ అంటే మనకి ఇమాజినేషన్ ఏమొస్తుంది? అవన్నీ ఉంటాయని అనుకుంటారు. బట్ విచ్ ఎనిమల్ అన్నప్పుడు that is exist అనమాట. ఎనిమల్ car, sorry, ars అంటే existing thing is there, dog is there. Those things are real world entity. Class is nothing but a blueprint. Understand now? చెప్పండి మేడం, అర్థమైందా లేదా? Say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now this is the template, the blueprint. So how we can convert this into the real world entity? ఎలా కన్వర్ట్ చేస్తాం ఈ క్లాస్ ని రియల్ వరల్డ్ ఎంటిటీగా? is to convert this class into the real world entity we have to create an object for that class. Okay, so what is object again? సో మనకి రెండు వస్తే చాలు మేడం. ఇఫ్ యు నో క్లాస్ సింటాక్స్, ఇఫ్ యు నో ఆబ్జెక్ట్, సో ఆల్మోస్ట్ యూ కెన్ డూ ఎనీ టైప్ ఆఫ్ కోడింగ్. 50% ఆఫ్ కోడింగ్ వచ్చినట్టే మనకు. ఓకే, సో క్లాస్ అండ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్. Okay, so object is nothing but what madam? It is a real world entity. It is existing in the earth. మనకు కనిపిస్తుంది అన్నట్టు ఉందని, స్విఫ్ట్ అనేది ఉంది అన్నట్టు. ఓకే, రియల్ వరల్డ్ ఎంటిటీ. ఓకే, ఆర్ we can call it a instance of the class. Instance of the class అన్నా, రియల్ వరల్డ్ ఎంటిటీ అన్నా, ఎనీథింగ్ ఇస్ సేమ్. ఓకే మేడం. So what is syntax for object? Syntax for object ఏంటంటే, so class name, okay, object name or instance name, whatever you can call it, object name, class name, object name equals to new keyword, class name, and we'll use a constructor. This is so don't worry about constructor and all those things. Just remember now syntax. This is a syntax. Okay. So class name, object name equal to new class name. This is syntax for what, madam? Object. Now tell me syntax for student, sir. Now create your object for student now. This class. Tell me syntax. Student is a class. I want to create an object for it. Syntax.
Student,
Correct. Student.
object name, sir.
Object name can give anything. For example, I can give a student 1 is my object name.
Equal to new
New
student of
student. So what is this equal to new is, for example, if I declare like this, okay, it is also object, but there is no memory in this variable object. Memory later, you cannot assign the data. But once you create equal user equals to new, then what will happen? What is that new keyword will do is it will allocate memory to the object. In memory key, it will assign some memory. Then you can assign the data. If you use a equal to new syntax, equal to new class name. If there is no, just if you declare like this, it is also just declaration of object, but there is no memory. ఇక్కడ memory ఏం లేదు ఇందులో. ఏమైనా డేటా స్టోర్ చేయాలంటే you cannot store it. Understand? అర్థమవుతుందా? What is the use of new keyword? So new keyword will allocate a memory for the object. Okay, we'll discuss in detail later. Now just understand this is syntax. Okay. So now this is a real world entity. Okay, in the student object, what are the fields we have, madam? Variables we have. Even variables in class learn.
student name, student
Student
event.
data, birth, result, all these things. So once you create an object, so we can access that variables. How we can call access the variables is to access variables,
Object name,
to access class variables. So we can use what, madam? Object name dot
dot
variable name.
variable name.
Understand? This is a syntax. Now tell me what is the syntax for how we can access student name now? How we can access student name variable in this class? The class name student name and a variable undi kada. How we can access that one? What is the object?
std1 dot
std1 dot
student name.
name. I'll give example. Name is you have to use a single quotes. Normal Java requires double quotes. Here I'll give a Ramesh. I want to access one more parameter. What is the other parameter? Date of birth. Tell me how we can access object name
std
dot method name. Sorry, variable name. What is the variable name, madam? Student date of
DU.
birth. So I can assign some date here. Example 10. That. Okay. And so if you want to access any variable, what we can do? Object name dot variable name. So similarly, if you want to access any method, same syntax, madam. Object name dot method name. To access any class variables or methods, which syntax we have to use, sir? Object name dot method. Understand, madam? Ardhamainda? Ardhamainda? Any questions? Okay, leave it. But now we have a class, madam. So now tell me how we can create object for this class. How we can test this function? I want to assign data and I want to test. I want to execute this method. How we can execute this class in Salesforce is, if you go to the debug, there is something called open execute anonymous window. Open this one. So here we can test our class is working or not. One class work avutunda leda ani cheppi ikkada test cheyochu. Okay. So first, how we can get object for this class now? Syntax ఏంటి మేడం? Object syntax.
Object class name,
What is the class?
car,
Class name, object name equals to new class name constructor. This is syntax. Now tell me syntax for this class.
car,
Example, I will give a car1 equals to
new car of
car. So this is syntax, right? So in this car, we have variables, right? How we can access variables? We access variables.
car1 dot car name.
యాక్సెస్ వేరియబుల్స్. సింటాక్స్ ఏంటి? వేరియబుల్స్ యాక్సెస్ చేయాలంటే ఆబ్జెక్ట్ నేమ్ డాట్
Object name dot
డాట్
Variable
వేరియబుల్
name.
నేమ్.
or method name.
సో హియర్ వాట్ ఇస్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ నేమ్ మనకి ఇక్కడ? కార్1. వేరియబుల్ నేమ్ ఏంటి?
Car
కార్
name.
నేమ్. సో కార్ నేమ్ అనేది ఏంటి మేడం ఇక్కడ? స్ట్రింగ్. స్ట్రింగ్ అంటే ఐ కెన్ గివ్ సమ్ ఈక్వల్స్ టు I lessen the some string here. I can give example Swift and Polar. So for car name, I have assigned a Swift. Okay. Next entity, madam, car brand. How we can access that variable? Car1 dot object name dot variable name. So car brand and also nothing but what, madam? Which data type?
Strings.
String equals to we have to use a single quotes. So brand name ఏమి ఇద్దాం మనం ఇక్కడ? anyone brand ఏంటి?
Honda.
ఏదో ఒకటి ఇవ్వండి మనం. హోండా బ్రాండ్ అని ఇచ్చేద్దాం ఎగ్జాంపుల్. ఐ వాంట్ టు యాక్సెస్ కలర్ ఆల్సో.
Car1 dot color. Car color.
కార్ కలర్ ఈక్వల్స్ టు స్ట్రింగ్. అది కూడా స్ట్రింగే కదా మేడం?
Equal to red.
స్ట్రింగ్ అండ్ స్ట్రింగ్ అంటే వీ హావ్ టు యూజ్ అ సింగిల్ కోట్స్. అది గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలి. నెక్స్ట్ కార్ ప్రైస్ మేడం. ఆబ్జెక్ట్ నేమ్ డాట్ వేరియబుల్ నేమ్.
Variable name.
వాట్ ఇస్ ద వేరియబుల్ నేమ్?
Car price.
ఎంత? దిస్ ఇస్ విచ్ డేటా టైప్ మేడం?
Hint, sir. Integer.
Integer ki you know that use a single quotes directly present to the number. For example, I can give a 10 lakhs. That's right. So like this we can access the variables. So how we can call this method now? How we can access the car class method? Access method.
Object name dot method name.
Correct. How we can call same syntax, madam. Same, just that same difference, same syntax. Whatever you can call variables, same syntax untadi. But instead of variable name, what we have to use here? Method name. Ante. So this is a syntax. Understand, madam? So syntax for object is class name, object name equal to new class name. So once you create an object, right? So we'll have some memory in this object name inside object. So once you are having object, then you can access your class variables, class methods. Okay. So now I want to call this method, madam. Display car info. How we can call this method? Depend, madam. How we can call this method?
Car1 dot display car info.
Accessing method. So what we can call car1 dot, what is the method name?
Display car info.
Car info. That's it. So now this is syntax, madam. So we have, this is the code I want to execute now. So if I will execute this code, what will happen? Any guess? So we are calling class here, class instance, like object. So for object, again we are calling all the variables, we are setting data, and we are calling the method. So in the method, what we are doing, madam? Logic, just displaying the car information. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So for example, to test this functionality, now what we can do? I can just select this much of code because I want to execute this much only. I don't want to execute this other code. I want to execute this much only. So highlight this one. So you can see there's something called execute highlighted. Okay. So click on execute highlighted. So there is something called debug logs here. Here logs. So just select open log, click on execute highlighted. So if you click open log and execute highlighted, what will happen is, so automatically you can see the logs of this class, whatever you are executing. For that code related logs, you can see in this, it will open automatically. I'll execute this highlighted. So now we can see automatically log is opening. So what we are doing in actually, if you want, we are printing some data here, right? So this is debug logs. So if you want to see this debug logs in this log, just you can put a debug only. See, car name, car information, car name, car brand, car color, everything equals. For example, I want to open this one, debug, open as in case if you are not selecting, okay, in this case you have only this much of code. ఇక్కడ వేరే code ఏం లేదు, just only this code is there. You no need to set execute other data. Just you can click the execute, that's it. Understand, madam? What is the difference between execute other data and execute? అర్థమైందా? Now also you are getting same. Understood, everyone? What is the difference between execute highlighted and execute? Execute highlighted means what will happen, madam? Whatever the code you are selecting, so this code, this part of code only will execute. Okay, if you don't select anything, in this case, what will happen? There is so much of code, right? In this case, if I click execute, you will get errors also. ఎందుకంటే there is no, we don't have anything called like this, right? In case in this anonymous window, if you have only your code, మనకి ఈ కోడే ఉంది అనుకోండి, ఇంకేం ఎక్స్ట్రా కోడ్ లేదు, then directly you can click execute, so there is no errors will get. Otherwise you have so much of lines here, okay, మనకి ఇక్కడ ఒక 1000 lines ఉన్నాయి, but I want to execute only 5-6 lines. What you can do, just select that 5-6 lines, click execute highlight. Understand, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So once you open this log, you can click a debug only. So మన debug log, మన class లో debug logs ఏమున్నాయో అవన్నీ వస్తాయి. ఇక్కడ system debug mention అన్ని, you can see that in the here debug only. If you say debug only, you can see car information, what's the data I have assigned, everything you can see. I want to create, now Swift is nothing but what, madam? It is exist in the real world. ఉందా లేదా real world Swift అనేది? Yes or no?
Yeah.
So that's why object is the real world entity, madam. Once you create object, so what you can do, you can make it a real world entity. Class is nothing but what? Blueprint. I want to create one more car now. Tell me syntax, madam. ఇంకో కార్ క్రియేట్ చేయాలి ఇప్పుడు. How we can create? I want to create one more car. Create one more
Method, sir.
object. One more object like car 2.
Two is good. Yeah.
I'll make it car 2, car 2, car 2, car 2. Instead of script, what I can take, madam? I can take anything. Example, grand I-20. So this is also Honda. I'll make it example, black. So example, I'll make price equals to 11 lakhs. That's it. So here also we have to call the again method. Now tell me, I want to execute both cars, madam. ఇప్పుడు both cars execute చేయాలి, ఎట్లా execute చేయాలి?
Full execute.
We can
We
create
select-
object.
We select the two.
If execute what will happen? ఏమవుతుందంటే ఎర్రర్ వస్తుంది, ఎందుకంటే this is not a code. This is not a valid code, madam.
Okay.
I want to execute only these two, car 1 and car 2. How we can execute?
We select the
Select
two,
execute.
sir. Car 1 and car 2.
Execute highlighted.
Execute highlight.
Right now you can see the both cars in the debug one, right? Grand I-20, yes, Swift cars. For example, I'll open again. If I'll remove this checkbox, what will happen, madam? Now it is log is automatically opening, right? Now it log will not open. If I click execute highlighted, code is executing, but log will not open. See, you can see there is unread. Correct? So now what you have to click double click this one. Now log will open. Now you can check your code. Understood what is the use of this open log checkbox? The checkbox అర్థమైందా?
Check.
Yes, sir.
Understand or not?
Understood.
Okay, madam. So like this, you can get multiple objects and you can create a multiple real world data. Okay, so that's why class is nothing but a blueprint. Object is nothing but a real world entity. Okay, so what you can do is you can create sample classes like this only. On 3 classes. One is you have to create a same class, whatever you create assignment. One is a car. One is a, you can create a animal. One is a, you can create a employee. So in this classes, you don't need to do any logic, madam. Just declare the variables and just display this information. Ante. But We have to use a different variables like integer, decimal, all those things. Try to use all those things. Carlo, some variables, some methods. Animal, some variables, some methods. Employee, like this. Create this assignment. We'll connect tomorrow. Clear?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh.
sir.
So thanks everyone. We'll connect tomorrow same time.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.